Well, Carole, 10 years ago we moved into this absolutely gorgeous location. We moved in the summer and then winter hit. And I discovered that days were very short and we had very long, cold nights, and I just needed to fill my garden with colour however I could.
And so is that when you started some of these mosaics?
Well, I actually started with plants. I started transplanting and moving things about, just trying to keep the colour going for as long as I could.
And then you added all these sculptures.
That was 7 years ago. I started to do mosaics, and basically I have had the best time just making sculptures, structures, anything to get colour into places where there is no colour, to keep winter cheery.
I think it's a brilliant idea. It makes me smile. Look at the flowers.
I just love these. They're frost-proof, they're lasting forever,
Yeah,
and they're not in the dump.
You say people throw them out, but you know how to make them into flowers, so you've got that inspiration.
Well, I had a few experiments, but I got there in the end. I know how to drill through glass now, and basically, yeah, they're great fun.
Now, I think this is a real clever idea, the fact that you are utilising the plants as well as your mosaics.
I absolutely love the idea of a fusion of the plants together with my mosaics.
The smoke bush, I mean, that is absolutely stunning. Quite late autumn colour.
It's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? We planted that 10 years ago.
And then you've got my favourite colours here. I mean,
well, I think the colours work well together,
gorgeous.
but this little pot, I had fun trying to create a nice frost-proof piece there that would stay out all winter when everything else around it is
Well,
gone.
I'd like you to show me a bit of the process.
I'd love to.
So, Maggie, this is all you need then to make yourself a sphere?
This is all we need. So basically our substrate can be anything. This is in fact a bowling ball.
So that's nice and heavy.
It's really heavy, so that's not going anywhere. But in order to make them have a nice key to put the tiles onto, we need to cover them in a watered down PVA solution, which will take a couple of hours to dry depending on where you're doing it. Then once the PVA is dry, we're ready to stick the tesserae on. Then you would use this cement-based adhesive, which is suitable for outdoors. And basically what we would do is just take a piece of tesserae,
Just pop it on.
place it on.
Do you then have to do a bit of grouting?
We don't grout until we've got all the, or at least some of the tesserae on.
Yes.
And then once this is completely dried in place, it's great fun to do, and it's great fun to grout. It's a lovely touchy-feely
It does look great
thing.
fun. Can we carry on in the garden and find some other things that you've been doing?
I'd love to show you what I've been doing. So here's another project I've been working on. This started this year. Basically, I've been melting glass.
Now, melting glass, what kind of temperatures are we speaking about?
We're talking about up to 800 degrees. It's just coming up with the best results. It's so exciting.
It's gorgeous, because that is just like a picture on glass with this beautiful backdrop. Now, as an artist, I would imagine you're always thinking about colour and what you're going to plant.
Well, absolutely, and I just love the idea here of the asters flowering behind my panel. Don't they just complement each other so nicely?
It does, it frames it, and I can't believe asters still in flower in November.
I know, I'm delighted. I'm so delighted you're seeing it like this.
It's great. Now, this is quite a sizable rock garden. Did you construct this?
This rockery was here when we moved in, and as was a lot of the hard landscaping. But again, I've tried to enhance it by adding height, colour, fun, just bits and pieces of unusual things.
Well, there is lots of colour, and I think in particular the cosmos, again, still flowering. Did you sow that from seed?
I love taking cosmos from seed. They are so incredibly independent. They just don't need anything. They're so sturdy.
You look at things in a completely different way, I think, from most people. For example, you know, the lampstand. I mean, most people, they're going to have that in their house.
It's great fun outside. It's metal, it's weatherproof. Give it a wee spray when it gets tired looking, and yeah, you've got our lovely garden ornament.
My goodness, Maggie. Now, this is something that I call really pretty wacky. I've never seen a pond like this before.
This is an incredibly easy, low maintenance pond. It's all about illusion and it's all about fun and quirkiness, but I have actually added loads of plants around the edge to soften it.
What about the lady?
Sunflower Shelley. She's a bit of a looker, isn't she?
Isn't she just?
She's had a bit of work done. The hair extensions there. Basically, the hair extensions have come from the twine that we found up in Durness on Balnakeil Beach. People bring me their rubbish and I use it in my garden.
You know, I'm going to look at rubbish in a completely different manner now. And you do classes, don't you?
I absolutely do, yes.
And maybe, do you think you could perhaps do something for Beechgrove?
I'd love to do something for Beechgrove. I've already got an idea in my head.
Brilliant. Back here in our low maintenance garden, Maggie has been true to her word because she has produced this magnificent mosaic sculpture. Now, we did ask her to produce it in the Beechgrove Garden colours, so there's lots of purples and greens, and it must have taken her hours to do it. It does look stunning now, but I think it's going to look even better when all the shrubs start to put on their leaves and it's going to be so colourful.
Well, that's been a busy programme.
Hasn't it,
And
Giles?
a lovely display of bulbs to finish with.
And well, we're back to George again because this is his work. End of September they were put in and they're gorgeous.
Favourite?
I've got to say ice follows the purity and the simplicity, and I think that demonstrates if you've got a few spare bulbs, stick them in a pot, think ahead,
Magic.
and exhibit them like that. Beautiful.
Yeah. What are you doing next week, ma'am?
Next week, actually, I'm minding the pennies. I've got
For
a
a
new
change.
strand. I'm going to be in rural Aberdeenshire, and it's about trying to garden on a budget.
OK, yes.
Well, before all that, if you'd like any more information about anything in the programme, then have a look on the website. Visit the fact sheet.
Well, we're about to do some pruning next week, would you believe?
More pruning. I mean, aren't you and George the new Sweeney Todd?
Couldn't possibly comment. Until then, bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.